Okay, so here is my sea moss, and it has soaked overnight. And you know, when we first put it in, it was real stiff, but now it's really soft. Okay, so it's really soft. So I am now going to strain this water off. Put it in here, strain the water off. Put it in here, and you notice the water is really clean. It's a little jelly-like because, you know, it's soaked overnight, but I don't use the water that it's soaked in. I pour that off. So we're gonna pour all of the remaining sea moss out of this bowl. Okay. Now I do rinse it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Rinse a lot of that water that is soaked in off. And I don't, you know, if you use some of that water, I don't think it will hurt, but this is just how I do it. Okay, I just strain it and rinse it a little bit before I begin to blend. All right, so I'm gonna sit it. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to film and hold the camera and all of that. But anywho, so the blender that I am going to use is a Vitamix. It is a high-powered blender, and it is thebomb.com. If you do a lot of blending, especially frozen fruit to make smoothies, etc., you know, the cheaper blenders may not hang in there with you as long, but this blender right here is pretty costly. However, you can get them on what they call the road shows when they're like BJ's or Costco's or Sam's Club. A lot of time they'll come and do road shows and they'll give you a discount. Also QVC, they do discounts on the Vitamix as well. But if you do the research on the Vitamix, it is so worth it. I believe a lot of smoothie shops use this blender as well. Okay, so it is. I'm just telling you what I use. It is worth the investment if you do a lot of blending like my family does. Okay, so now what I am going to do, I am going to put some of this in the blender. Put some of the sea moss in the blender. Okay. Don't blend a whole lot at one time. Okay, and then I just have regular purified water. All right, and you just put in here, and this is room temperature water. And so I usually use a whole bottle, at least a little more, because that's a lot of sea moss that I'm blending. Okay, and so put that there, and then I'm going to put my lid on. Put my lid on, and then I am going to start to blend. And blend it nice and easy, Okay, I'll turn it off. And you can see starting to get real jelly-like. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of the sea moss in, the rest that I have in here. Just put it in here. Be nice if I pull the blender away from the cabinet a little bit, right? Okay. It is really hard. I need to bring up my little tripod when I'm doing these videos because it's hard to hold the camera steady and see. But you guys get the gist of it. This doesn't have to be a long video. It's just showing you how I'm blending it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and blend. right. So it's all blended. So I'm going to show you the consistency. Look at that. Okay. Now this will thicken a little bit more, but you see it's kind of like, looks like applesauce. That's what I would compare it to, like an applesauce. Now there are some people who blend theirs with bladderwrack, or is it burdock root? One of those. I do not. I just do a straight Seamoss blend. Okay, that's all I do is a straight Seamoss blend, and then I do take the bladderwrack and burdock root, but the bladderwrack I take separately. Now this is a tincture, so it's in the liquid form, but I do take the pills as well. So they have the bladderwrack in the tincture, which is liquid, and then they also have the pills, and then you have the burdock root. Okay, so when you take these three, Seamoss, burdock root, bladderwrack, when you take those three together, you are getting 102 nutrients that you need. Seamoss is 92, and then the burdock root and the bladderwrack will make up the difference to give you 102 of the nutrients that you need. Okay, now listen, I am not a doctor. I am not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you what I do, and I'm telling you that these are all natural herbs and they work. Okay, so now I am going to show you, sorry, camera going wild, but like 30 more seconds. So I'm going to show you my, what is this thing called? Mason jar. Okay, so I'm just going to pour it into the mason jar. And I will get a spatula and get all of that off of there, because it's some good old stuff. Won't want to lose none of it. Okay, so I'm just going to pour it into the jar like so. Look at that. That is so good. Now I'm going to say this to you. This is so easy to make. So easy to make. You do not need to pay nobody to make this. I'm telling you, it's just so easy. You just wash it real good, blend it. Soak it overnight, then blend it, and then it is ready to pour into the mason jars. And this will last in your refrigerator for at least 30 days. At least 30 days. And so I make 2 of these mason jars. It may be a little bit more. I'm looking at this, so I may get a bigger mason jar and this one small one. But I split my large bag into 4s, and I just do 1/4 of the bag, and that will last me at least 30 days, or at least 30 days, because I do 2 to 4 tablespoons. When I first started doing this, or taking this herb, I did, because you can't take too much. You can put it in your soups, you can put it in your smoothies, you can put it in your coffee. It has no taste. It smells like the sea, but it has no taste. So it does mask it when you hide it in your food. And so the first 2 weeks, I took 6 tablespoons a day, because I wanted to get it in my system and get my body used to it. And I'm telling you, the first week I used to have knee ache. And the first week I noticed coming down the steps, I said, wait a minute, I don't feel no ache in my knee. This is amazing, amazing stuff. I'm trying to tell you, do your research on it. Seamoss, it is amazing. All right, well, I think that is it. I showed you how to rinse it. I showed you how to soak it overnight, and I showed you how to blend it and how to store it in a mason jar. I recommend mason jars, okay? If you have an old pickle jar or old soup jar that is glass, that'll work too. That's old school. You just save those old pickle jars, and Big Mama and them used to store their stuff in those jars, and they work just fine. But I believe mason jars are the best because they are airtight. No air is going to get in them. And so remember, this is real food, okay? It's live. It's real, real, real. So it can go bad. All right, so hope that helps. Talk to you soon. Peace.